Your company can post the best numbers in its history on a Tuesday and lay you off on Wednesday. And in 2026, that's not a contradiction. That's the plan. This year, some of the most profitable companies in America cut thousands of people in the same week they told shareholders business had never been better. So if your plan for job security is, my company's doing great, so I'm fine, I need to show you why that logic quietly stopped working, how to tell if your specific role is exposed, and what actually protects your paycheck now. And I'll do it without the doom, because the real story is stranger than the economy is bad. Quick note, this is general information, not personal financial or career advice.
Let's start with the deal nobody signed, but everybody believed. For decades, the logic was simple. If your company is making money, your job is safe. Layoffs were what happened to failing companies. You cut people when you were losing money and trying to survive. And in 2026, that broke. Because the layoffs making headlines this year aren't coming from companies that are drowning. They're coming from companies that are winning.
Here's what I mean. Take Cloudflare. This spring, they cut around 1,100 people, about 20% of the company. In the same quarter, they reported the highest revenue in their history, up 34% from the year before. And the CEO's explanation was chilling in how casual it was. The people they let go, he said, were mostly the measurers. Hold on to that word. Then Cisco, roughly 4,000 jobs, cut right after beating profit expectations. Their finance chief said flat out, it wasn't about saving money. It was about moving resources toward AI, chips, and security. And it kept going. Block cut around 40% of its workforce, and the stock jumped 24% that same day. Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, all tied to major cuts or buyouts in a year when their revenue was climbing. These are not wounded companies bleeding out. These are the winners. And they're cutting on purpose.
Now here's where most videos would tell you the economy is collapsing. It's not, and this is the part you actually need to understand. Unemployment right now is about 4.2%. Historically, that's low. There's no mass unemployment crisis in the headline number. So what's going on? Two things. First, that 4% looks better than it feels. Partly because some people gave up looking for work and dropped out of the count entirely. And second, hiring has nearly stalled. One recent month added just 57,000 jobs, a fraction of what we're used to. So the job market isn't crashing, it's freezing. Economists call it low hire, low fire. You probably won't get randomly laid off tomorrow, but if you do get cut, almost nobody's hiring. And the number of people stuck unemployed for 6 months or more is near record territory. Low odds of falling. Brutal landing if you do.
So if the companies are profitable and the economy isn't crashing, why are the winners cutting? Because they changed the number they care about. The old goal was growth, more revenue, which usually meant more people. The new goal is efficiency. The most revenue per employee. Read that again. Not total revenue, revenue per person. And the fastest way to push that number up isn't to sell more. It's to keep the revenue and remove the people. Now layer AI on top. Every big company is spending enormous money on AI and automation right now. And that money has to come from somewhere. So the question on the boardroom table is brutally simple. Keep this layer of the org chart, or spend that budget on AI instead. And more, they're choosing silicon over people. Profit and layoffs aren't opposites anymore, they've become teammates.
Which brings us back to that word, measurers. This is the most useful idea in the whole video, so let me make it practical. In every company, there are people who make the thing, build the product, close the sales, ship the work, bring in the revenue. And there are people who measure the thing, track it, report on it, coordinate it, approve it, sit in the meeting about the meeting. For years, that measuring layer grew and grew. And it's exactly the layer AI is best at eating. Pulling reports, summarizing, checking, routing approvals. So when a profitable company goes looking for cuts, it usually isn't aiming at the people building the product. It's aiming at the layer that measures it. So here's the uncomfortable question to ask yourself honestly. In your job, are you closer to making the thing or measuring it? Because the new math is a lot kinder to makers.
Now let me pump the brakes, because there's a version of this video that's pure fear, and it'd be wrong. AI is coming for every job is a headline, not a fact. The reality is messier. Some companies that went all in on replacing people with AI have quietly walked it back when the tools couldn't actually do the job. And we're realigning around AI is a very convenient thing to say, when what you really mean is, we wanted to cut costs, and AI sounds better than admitting it. So don't panic, and don't buy the hype either. The point isn't that a robot takes your exact job next Tuesday. The point is subtler and more important. The thing you thought protected you, your company doing well, no longer does. You need a new source of security. So let's talk about what it actually is.
4 moves, none of them learn to code filler.
1. Get on the maker side of the line. Wherever you are, push your work toward things that visibly build the product or bring in revenue, and get credit where decision makers can see it. Proximity to the money is proximity to safety.
2. Be the person who uses the AI, not the task that gets automated. The worker who makes an AI tool do the work of 5 people is the one they keep. Learn the tools reshaping your industry and be the one wielding them.
3. Build your emergency fund like reentry is slow, because it is. In a low-hire market, the old 3 months of expenses is thin. Aim higher, because if you're cut, the search takes longer than it used to.
4. Read your employer like an investor. When leadership starts talking about efficiency ratios, realignment, or a giant new AI investment, that's not neutral corporate noise. That's the tell. Update your resume and your options before the announcement, not after.
So, strong earnings don't mean your paycheck is safe, because the rule changed underneath us. Profit used to shield your job. Now the winners cut on purpose, chasing revenue per person and spending on AI over people. But you're not powerless. Get on the maker side. Wield the tools instead of being replaced by them. Save like re-entry is slow, and read the signals early. Do that, and you stop depending on your company's luck and start depending on your own position. If this reframed how you think about your job, subscribe. I decode one Money and Work headline like this every week, so you're never the last to know when the rules change. See you in the next one.